he's made such a transition and has built up such a fan base, and the main reason why is because that he basically uses his insecurities, his past, his story, his life as inspiration to his music, and he lets people know what he's going through, and it allows everyone to relate. I know that his father had passed, I believe, in 2020, and at the time, I feel like now in his music, which I didn't realize as much, is compared to most, a decent portion of his music, or at least within the past two albums, are very, very in depth on stuff that he's dealing with, and stuff that's very personal. Like his song "Lonely" is very very personal in the sense of what he talks about with his aunt and his dad, and not being there for him when they died, and that because of him, he just feels alone, and he knows he made a mistake, and he talks about how when he did talk to his dad last, or not when he talked to his dad last, but he was on the phone when he took his dad took his last breath, and that he wasn't there and couldn't be there at the time, and that with his aunt, he basically kind of blew her off when he was caught up in the mainstream with the drugs and partying and touring, that he kind of blew her off when she was on the phone to him before she died, and he kind of he definitely regrets that, and you can tell, and so he's trying to learn and adjust. And I feel like in the past couple years, he's probably made the biggest changes in his life, between not being a drug addict anymore, with especially hard stuff and what he was doing, and changing what he's focusing on when it comes to his life, and changing his priorities. But at the same time, because of his music and because he talks so openly about the stuff he's dealing with, and what people are saying about him, it allows him to build a larger connection with his audience, and it just allows his music to have a larger outreach and build a stronger community than it ever had before. So I'm really curious to see how his next album goes. But as for that, I guess that's kind of the last bit in Life of Pink. In it, he also shows his past a little more with his come up, and how people don't necessarily understand that he started from the absolute bottom and living in a very rough neighborhood in Cleveland, and dealing with certain things, and performing on like not even a stage, just like a platform in a little park with a live crowd, and dealing with stuff, and a gun getting pulled on him when he had his daughter, and trying to deal with all that and still make it out, that he was able to channel all that into his music and still develop and create such a creative personality to make the music. And in the documentary itself, he doesn't personally show you, but you're there as he's creating some of these songs. And for me personally, some of these songs I've heard so many times because I just keep replaying it, and they're stuck in my head, and they're so good, that seeing how he takes that creative side and wanting to just like add this little bit here, or add this certain vocal and piece it together, you get to see the inside of the artist's mind a little bit. And he put together some of the, he won the number one alternative album of the year with both albums, and it shows because each album was developed in such a way that they definitely tell a story, and I feel like his career is just going to keep taking off from here, and I can't wait to necessarily see where it goes. I think everybody should, if you haven't, at least listen to some of his music, see what you think, and if you're curious about him, I definitely recommend watching this documentary on Hulu. It's like an hour and 40 minutes long, but it's something that's very, I guess, eye opening into the world of a major celebrity and one of the largest artists of the time, I feel like, or one of the most polarizing artists, where most you don't get that opportunity to kind of see inside their life and what they're going through and what they're dealing with and their emotions and where everything's coming from and how they're dealing with the public facade and the publicity, bad or good, and everything they see. So it was really cool to see someone's mindset as they work through dealing with such major fame